Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Follow Hari Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari Hari Sing all together Hari Krishna 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 Hari Hari Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari Mataji sing Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hari Hare Rama 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 Hare Hari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Ashtaparayesha Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for coming today to the wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam class. And before starting, I would like to request all of the present devotees, especially the most senior ones, to give me their blessings in order to be able to say something bona fide. Because without the blessings of the seniors, our spiritual life is in name only and not factual. So we're reading from Bhagavatam, 4th canto, chapter 3, verse 17, the chapter is entitled Talks Between Shiva and Sati. It's a very beautiful pastime. And let's chant the verse together. Please repeat after me as soon as Natabar finds it. You got it? Okay. So whoever has phone, use your phone. Whoever has good hearing power, just repeat what I say. Don't worry if it's feels a little bit off. Vidya tapo vidava purva yakula I. 17. Got it?
4-3-17.
Yes. Natabar has it. Please show to Dylan. Got it? Okay, I'll start again. Got it? Vidya tapo vitava purva yakulai. Satam gunai sabir asatam erata ihi. Marau hatyambrita manadur durshaha. Sabdana pashanti hidama bhuyasaham. Vidya tapo vitava purva yakula ai. Satam gunai sabir asatam erata ihi. Smritau hatyau brita manadur durshaham. Sabdana pashanti hidama bhuyasa aham. Vidya tapo vitava purva yakula ai. Satam gunai sabir asatam erata ihi. Smritau hatyam brita manadur ishayaha. Abdana pashanti hidama bhuyasa aham. Please chant. Tadangunaiza virasasamerai. Vidahutam britaman. Sandhana Chandidam. Vidyata bhavita vabhavaya kula. Tatam gunaisavi asata merahi. Vita vidambrita manadurvesha. Sabdana pashanti hidam bhusa.
Vidya tapo vita vapur vaya kulai.
Atam gunai sabi asata merahi. Vita vidyambrita manadurshaya ahaha. Sabdana pashanti hidam bhusa. Okay, let's move forward. Please repeat after me, word by word. Vidya, education. Tapaha, austerity. Vita, wealth. Vapu, beauty of body, etc. Vayaha, youth. Kulai, with heritage. Satam, of the pious. Gunai, by such qualities. Sadbihi, six. Asatama, itarai. Asatama itarai, having the opposite result to those who are not great souls. Smritao, good sense. Hatayam, being lost. Britamana, durdrishaha, blind due to pride. Stabdaha, being proud. Na, not. Pashyanti, see. He, for. Dhamma, the glories. Bhuyasam, of the great souls. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Although the six qualities, education, austerity, wealth, beauty, youth, and heritage, are for the highly elevated, one who is proud of possessing them becomes blind, and thus he loses his good sense and cannot appreciate the glories of great personalities. Purport. It may be argued that since Daksha was very learned, wealthy, and austere, and had descended from a very exalted heritage, how could he be unnecessarily angry towards another? The answer is that when the qualities of good education, good parentage, beauty, and sufficient wealth are misplaced in a person who is puffed up by all these possessions, they produce a very bad result. Milk is a very nice food, but when milk is touched by an envious serpent, it becomes poisonous. Similarly, material assets such as education, wealth, beauty, and good parentage are undoubtedly nice, but when they decorate persons of a malicious nature, then they act adversely. Another example given by Chanakya Pandit is that a serpent that has a jewel on its head is still fearful because it is a serpent. A serpent by nature is envious of other living entities. Even though they be faultless, when a serpent bites another creature, it is not necessarily because the other creature is at fault. It is the habit of the serpent to bite innocent creatures. Similarly, although Daksha was qualified by many material assets, because he was proud of his possessions and because he was envious all those qualities were polluted. It is therefore sometimes detrimental for a person advancing in Krishna consciousness or Krishna consciousness to possess such material assets. Kunti Devi, while offering prayers to Krishna, addressed him as Akinchana Gochara, one who is easily approached by those who are bereft of all material acquisitions. Material exhaustion is an advantage for advancement in Krishna consciousness, although if one is conscious of his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can utilize one's material assets, such as great learning and beauty and exalted ancestry, for the service of the Lord. Then such assets become glorious. In other words, unless one is Krishna conscious, all his material possessions are zero. But when this zero is by the side of the Supreme One, it at once increases in value to 10. Unless situated by the side of the Supreme One, zero is always zero. One may add 100 zeros, but the value will still remain zero. Unless one's material assets are used in Krishna consciousness, they may play havoc and degrade the possessor. Prabhu, you appeared. Translation once again. All the six qualities, education, austerity, wealth, beauty, youth, and heritage, are for the highly elevated. One who is proud of possessing them becomes blind, and thus he loses his good sense and cannot appreciate the glories of great personalities. Just like Daksha was completely bewildered by Maya because he became proud of this, which is not his. Nothing is ours. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, there is a famous verse which denotes this type of personalities, which are of several types. Namam dushkritino muda prapadyante naradama maya parita jnana asuram bhavam ashitaha. So who are these people? The dushkritis. The atheistic plan makers are described as miscreants or dushkritina. Kriti means one who has performed some good work, some meritorious work. The atheist plan maker is sometimes very intelligent and meritorious because any gigantic plan or any good or bad must take intelligence to execute. But because the atheist brain is improperly utilized in opposing the plan of the Supreme Lord, the atheistic plan maker is called a dushkriti, which indicates that his intelligence and efforts are misdirected. So this is exactly what we're observing here in the pastime. And then we have, among those four types, the Naradama are those who are socially and politically developed, but who have no religious principles. They are considered Naradamas, or literally translated, the lowest of mankind, because they have been given such a nice facility, such a great gift by the Supreme Lord. What are they doing? They're just wasting it completely. So ungrateful, so degrading. And then Maya Pahrita Jnana, or those persons whose erudite knowledge has been nullified by the influence of illusory material energy. They're mostly very learned fellows, great philosophers, poets, literati, scientists, etc. But the illusory energy is misguiding them, and therefore they are disobeying the Supreme Lord. There are a great number of Mayapahrita Gyanis at the present moment, even among the scholars of the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada mentions so many times how important it is to present the Gita as it is, because all the other versions of the Gita are not bona fide, because the spirit of the Bhagavad Gita is adulterated by this twisted intelligence, by this intelligence being stolen by Maya. So these commentators, these so-called scholars who are presenting the science in that manner, they're actually misleading society into the greatest hell. and they themselves are going to hell, and everybody who follows them. The blind who are leading the blind. So, very important for us to understand how these mechanics happen, so that we can prevent it happening in our life and, of course, in the lives of others. In the Gita, in plain and simple language, it is stated that Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is none equal or greater than him. He is mentioned as the father of Brahma, the original father of all human beings. In fact, Shri Krishna is said to be not only the father of Brahma, but also the father of all species of life. He is the root of the impersonal Brahman and Paramatma, the super soul in every living, in every entity in his plenary portion. He is the fountainhead of everything, and everyone is advised to surrender unto his lotus feet. Despite all these clear statements, the Maya Pahrita Jnana deride the personality of the Supreme Lord and consider him merely another human being. They do not know that the blessed form of human life is designed after the eternal and transcendental feature of the Supreme Lord. So they have the possibility to understand the Lord, but yet they deride him because they're rascals and fools, dushkritis. One time in Mayapur, the devotees, they built a nice temple, and they were already organizing so many events and festivals. And one time they invited some kirtaniyas from outside, but actually they were professional kirtaniyas. So they were chanting Hare Krishna in the temple very nicely, in Bengal, in Mayapur. Bhakta feel he was just there. He probably heard the sweet Bengali voices of the devotees there. They're unbelievably beautiful. And like this, the kirtan was going on. Everybody was having fun in a devotional way. Everybody was serving and chanting the names. But then Prabhupada, he entered the temple and he heard those fellows chanting, and he became really upset. And he chastised the devotees. The devotees were kind of perplexed because what's wrong? They're chanting Hare Krishna. But Prabhupada told them, yes, they might be chanting Hare Krishna, might be coming out from their mouth, but in their minds, they're chanting money, 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 money. Money. So imagine the expertise of Srila Prabhupada. He was such a receptive and great Mahatma to be able to immediately perceive the bogusness of what was going on. Most of the people, they were like, they were listening to Hare Krishna, but as it's explained here, again, we can't stress it enough, emphasizing the point of the serpent that is biting, that is drinking milk and contaminating the heavenly substance, which is so nourishing for the brain tissues and so forth. So you drink a little bit of this milk, and instead of acquiring finer brain tissues, you are losing brain tissues, and then you're going downwards. Even without noticing, it happens like this. So that's why it's very important for us to understand this point and avoid, especially Westerners nowadays who are very fond of listening to YouTube songs, Krishna Das and all those rascals who are not authorized, who are atheists at the least, offenders most of the times. It's very or Bollywood songs, who chanting Hare Krishna, that sound very nicely, but these are all serpents that are touching milk, and we have to avoid that milk because it's completely poisonous. In the same manner, Daksha was also having very nice milk in his life, but because of his pride, his opulences backfired. So in this way, having material assets can be a hindrance on the path of spiritual realization, because one gets intoxicated. Just like something that comes to my mind is, it is explained that Practicing devotional service in the heavenly planets, for example, is very difficult because the standard of living there is very high. So they are enjoying a very, very, very high standard of sense gratification. It is explained that if we are to hear a little bit of music from the heavenly planets, from the Gandharvas and Apsaras, just a little bit, you just faint. You have like a climax in your mind. So because of this facility, because of the royal opulence and the so many outlets to enjoy and have nice foodstuffs and beautiful sightings and all the juicy things that we also have here, but they're not so nice here. This type of sense gratification is actually diverting them. They cannot focus on devotional service. And then vice versa, in the hellish planets, there's too much suffering. So even that is an unfavorable condition for practicing. But in Bhumi, in Bhumandala, Bharatavarsha, more specifically, where we are at, we have the greatest facility to have a balance of pain, of suffering, and of pain and pleasure, so that we can think clearly. We can get enough of both, so that we can go on. But even here, people can have heavenly pleasures. You know, demigods, when they come down from Svargalok, they still have some remnant karma. For example, if we see all these singers, very talented singers, you know, Hollywood actors, or the great artists and architectures like Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Mozart. You know, Mozart, he started playing piano when he was 3, 4, 5 years old, and he started composing these great symphonies, which are basically glorifying God, and they transcend every possible material. You know, everybody can relate to classical music. Not everybody can relate to Hollywood music, classical music. So this is a sign of a very exalted karma of pious living entities who are coming here because, you know, you can't stay there forever. But nevertheless, their opulence, their talents can become hindrance. If they're misdirected, they can very easily kill you. You know, just like we know these modern rock stars like Kurt Cobain. You know, boom, you can't handle it. You know, the energy. If you keep the energy for yourself, you're gonna explode. You have to redirect the energy towards service. That's the only way. So even Daksha's head exploded and he got a new head here. That's what happened. We have the perfect example of Gorakishore Das Babaji, which is standing there beside Srila Prabhupada, one of our acharyas, who was the spiritual master of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. He gave a very nice example of how to stay away from all this nonsense. He was voluntarily accepting austerities. He was just chanting whole day. And not just that, he was going to chant in the toilets, in the dirty toilets in Bengal in those days. We've seen dirty toilets here. We know how they smell, but when you go in those places, you know, it's another level, you know. And he was going there because he wanted to avoid as much as possible people coming close to him, glorifying him, and similar things. And he was also being hungry. He wasn't eating for long times, and you have to eat something at one point. What was he doing to keep his hunger suppressed? He was taking Ganga mud. He was eating mud, imagine. And because of that, he became blind. Became completely blind, and he was probably happy about that. He was like, I don't have to watch any more beautiful women. That's it. Just like there was this other pastime of, what was his name, Natabar? The one who pricked his eyes. What was the name of the sadhu? Bilva Mangala Thakur? Yeah, Bilva Mangala Thakur, who was a great sadhu, then he fell down for a prostitute, and then he raised up again, and then again he was. Then again he saw another beautiful. He went through a village, and there was a brahmana in his cottage, and he went there to get something to eat, and he saw his wife.
He said, I'll give you anything in charity. He's like, okay, I like your wife.
After everything that he went through, he wanted his wife again. Imagine he was also probably like a very opulent guy, very beautiful. The Brahmanas, these sadhus, like Shukadev Goswami is described like extremely beautiful individuals, like symmetry in the body, in the face, Shri, beauty. It's a sign of very advanced personalities, materially and spiritually. So he fell down again. So what did he do? He just pricked his eyes. He said, "That's it. No more. Only Hare Krishna from now on." Or Kaviraj Maharaj, who wrote the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he got empowered while he was like 90 years old. He was basically crippled by old age. He was barely seeing, but still he got empowered. And he was considering himself in the purport to be lower than the stew in the street, than, than the worm in the stew on the street. And then he was collecting information from all the other Goswamis on on the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. That's how he wrote the book. So he went to Raghunath Bhatha Goswami, to who were the other ones? The ones that didn't want to be mentioned inside. Lokaran Maharaj, the one of the six Goswamis. Two of the six Goswamis they didn't want to be mentioned. I think Bhatta Raghunath. Yeah. So two of them, they told him, okay, we're gonna give you as much information as you want, plenty, but don't mention our names. We don't want to have anything to do with this, because this is the symptom of spiritual advancement. The devotee, he doesn't want to be glorified. He doesn't want to get involved in these dynamics, mechanics here, because every little bit of pride, every little bit of appreciation of something material can lead us to downfall. There's one pastime where, I don't know if it was Narada Muni or somebody else, he was just about to get liberated, but because he saw a very beautiful sighting in front of him, a forest with a creek and mountains and the azure skies, and he just had a moment of appreciation. It's so nice. Then he had to come back again to enjoy, because he wanted it. So this is what material opulence is. Ultimately, we have to gradually give it up. All the beautiful things, all the tasty things. At the same time, we shouldn't become false renunciants. Rupa Goswami explains in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in the Nectar of Devotion as we know it, that there is a so-called false renunciation, the Falgu Vairagya, which means, I found it on ChatGPT actually. ChatGPT gave a very nice explanation. I want to read it. Characteristics of Falgu Vairagya. First, external rejection without understanding. Too much. When I joined the temple in Tenerife 9 years ago, and the temple president was cooking, and I was helping him, and I was having lower back pain. And I was telling him, Prabhu, I really have back pain. He told me, too much standing without understanding. External rejection without understanding. Rejecting material things as bad or mundane without recognizing their potential utility in serving God or higher spiritual purpose. Just like a very practical example is, you have a beautiful phone. So you come to spiritual life and you're like, this is Maya. It's made by demons. I don't want it anymore. I won't utilize it. But this is actually false, because you cannot renounce something which is not yours. So nothing is yours. The only thing that is ours is our free will. That is the only thing that Krishna doesn't take away. But here, we understand that everything has to be utilized in the service of Krishna in a proper manner. Not that we just renounce our family, go to the forest to become yogis, or just eat austere, and then the body is not nourished. The mind is not nourished. It's so important to give taste to the mind, to have appropriate foodstuffs. Many times devotees, they go into these extremities because they don't understand this subtle principle. And then the second point, exactly, there is attachment beneath the surface. Outward renunciation often masks hidden desire or attachment, making it superficial. So it is explained that rejection is the same, is the other side of the same coin. So when we are hating something, it's basically because we are attached. So we should neither hate nor like. We should be neutral. And we should utilize it for the service of Krishna. And we should be satisfied just with that. Because, why? We are servants. That's it. We're not entitled to the result because the result is from Krishna. It can be good, it can be bad, it will be good, and it will be bad. But we don't care because we're yogis, right? And then the third point is misguided attachment, viewing material objects as inherently evil instead of understanding that the problem lies in attachment to them, not in their existence. So the world is not bad. This is the playground of God. This is the spiritual world. It can be as spiritual as the spiritual world itself, because factually, this is the same energy of Krishna. So what is happening in the end of the day is that we're not renouncing the world as such, but what we're renouncing is our view of the world. What is our view of the world? Our view is that of exploitation, which comes from aham mameti, me and mine. So it's just a matter of applying ourselves to the process and elevating our consciousness. And then we can start seeing the miracles even here. You can see there's the microphone, there's the stanchion, the bench. Everything is meant for the service of Krishna. Nothing is to be rejected. So we have to understand this very powerful and subtle concept, because this is what Bhakti Yoga is. Instead of Falgu Vairagya, Yukta Vairagya, active renunciation. So we're acting and we're renouncing within that action the desire to enjoy, to exploit the objects of the senses. Instead, we're offering them back to Krishna. And only when we do that, we will understand what life is about, actually. Because this is the complete reality. Only when we act according to the Brahman, according to the original spiritual platform, as a complete self-servants, anyabilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. When our work becomes completely pure from jnana, karma, and adi, only then we will be able to experience the real taste and to develop, deepen our relationship with Krishna, which begins with our fellow devotees and the temple management. Hare Krishna. So this is what I wanted to share with you, dear devotees. If if there are any comments, questions, donations, yes, back to Phil. Yes, the other one to you.
Online crew. Krishna, do you have something to say?
As the most senior of the seniors.
First.
Yes.
Talking about that turned on.
I think it's not on. Put it on. It has to have a green light. Yeah, that's
that you're talking about how the pride is a demoniac quality, like it's described in the Bhagavad Gita. There's Dumbo Darpa Vimanascha, pride, conceit. But actually, Daksha was actually a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. He was just a Kanishta Adhikari. It's realized, that he had materialistic tendencies, and because of that, this pride arose, and that though it's a demoniac quality, it's something that even the demigods fall victim to, and ourselves as neophyte devotees, we fall victim to. Not just the demons who have to worry about it, unfortunately.
Devotees. Because what is actually happening here, now we came out exactly from the pastime of Kapila Dev. So what did Kapila do? Explain basically. What did he explain? What is the main topic in Kapila's pastime? But you were listening to the lectures. There's so many lectures. Give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you failed.
You know what? I was actually going to say that. Devotional service being the highest form of vairagya, maybe.
Yeah.
And not false.
Yeah, many things, but specifically Kapila Dev his main topic is devotional service in the modes of material nature. How is that devotional service can be contaminated by 3 modes of material nature? It cannot be contaminated. We can be contaminated, and we can be contaminated in tamas, rajas, or sattva even. Somebody would say, why sattva? It's good, it's pious. No, even sattva is material. It's still birth, death, old age, and disease. Very important to understand, especially from those who are born in India, those places, because they think that just by doing pious work will grant them the ultimate success. But that is very, very, very far from the truth. And the first pastime that we find in the 4th canto is actually exemplifying devotional service in which mode?
What's the first one we're finding? Dhruva?
4th canto, first pastime. Huh? What?
Daksha.
Yes. Haribo. So even Daksha, like Krishna Kripa Prabhu was explaining, was exalted devotee of Krishna, became influenced by the mode of ignorance. And this is what happened. He got a gold head. That's cool. Because why? Because ignorance, one who is in the mode of ignorance, he becomes proud, he offends the devotees, he's very toxic, and so forth. So we should understand these dynamics and observe in our life. This is what is meant to happen. Bhagavatam is not just some kind of a faraway concept, some book from 5,000 years ago. Bhagavatam is meant to manifest in front of our eyes. Our life is Bhagavatam. Any other questions?
Well, I guess more just comment. It's saying in the verse that pride makes you blind, and like they say, like youth is wasted on the young, and that's like a common.
First time hearing this.
You never heard that saying?
Youth is wasted on the young.
Youth is wasted on the young, and it's like, there's like the common stereotype of like the young and proud young buck that just can do everything, but then doesn't really have the knowledge, and then won't listen to all the elders who know like what to tell them. And that's even a trope even outside of like spiritual life, like just in people's regular general material life. And Raghunath Das Goswami in Manashiksha, he compares pride to a dog, and that the chase after prestige, like somewhat like a prostitute that eats dog. And so if he considers pride to be like the root of all the other anarthas, like it's basically that's like
comes out of envy.
Yeah, and you can't, like we're saying in the 4th verse of Shikshashtakam, Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadish. It's like I don't want wealth, I don't want name and fame, I don't want women. But if you have pride, you kind of want all those things. and
Mhm.
the desire for all those things will come from the pride. So we have to train our minds to
Yeah.
detest that.
Yeah, very nice meditation to understand what it actually means, all these qualities in our character, and analyze them closely, how they manifest, what makes us prideful, and uh, like all these opulences and stuff. So
Yeah.
everybody has to make a unique recipe arrangement in his daily life to, do the things, to arrange the things properly.
Yeah, we have so many good qualities because of our previous activities, but that can just be the thing to undo us. That's
Yeah.
like being, you said, being bound by sattvagun. Yeah, it's good that you're in sattvagun, but like you can also be complacent and you can also become proud very easily. And that's sometimes even worse than like being in this,
Yeah.
so-called lower mode.
At least in ignorance, you like suffer so much, and at one point you hit rock bottom, like most of us.
Yeah, that's true. Then you maybe actually become humble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess humility is the opposite of pride, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Humility is the panacea for pride.
Wasn't there some pastime of a prostitute and a brahmana who was judging her? She was put a bunch of
Speak
rocks,
louder.
one on top of the other, one on top of the other.
Loudly.
Oh, yeah. Isn't there a pastime of that pride, a brahmana and a prostitute? And he could, like, I guess they were across the street from each other. Whenever a customer would go in her house, he would stack a rock to judge her. And then she felt so guilty about what she was doing. She was getting purified internally. He was so busy judging her, he was getting degraded internally.
Yeah, actually, it said anytime you degrade someone else and they like accept it and like don't do it, you get all those bad qualities that you were thinking about them,
Yeah.
and they get all the pious activity that whatever you had. So it's really important to leave the criticism to the really powerful gurus and sadhus that can actually cut it away without getting contaminated by it.
Jai.
So if we see a prostitute, we shouldn't be stacking the rocks.
Anything else? We have plenty of time. Let's discuss more. Brother Prabhu, I see you're very eager. Yeah, please. Share all the nectar you guys are bringing from Mayapur and the other places.
I was just considering the way you brought up this point of how Srila Prabhupada did not appreciate so much about the Harinam which was sung by the outside people.
Yeah.
So, this is very important for us to understand. In fact, when we see Srila Prabhupada never recommended also that, we hear Srimad Bhāgavatam from a person who is not in connection with parampara. When we go out in Vrindavan, there's so many billboards presenting glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam, this katha, that katha, very attractive to the common people. But then, if it is not connected to proper parampara, then hearing from such source is not so much beneficial to us, and yeah, that point is like really one thing. I wanted to check with you also. You gave the example of a phone, that
Of what?
of the mobile, very
Mhm.
beautiful mobile,
Yeah.
as a Yukta Vairagya principle. Where do we limit ourselves in utilizing this, especially this mobile, because it's a uh, source of attraction also, where one can
Yes.
indulge in a lot of materialistic activities also and degrade his own consciousness by indulging in this thing. So
Yeah.
where do we draw the line? It
Yeah.
can be
Very good
line,
question.
it can be utilized to preach very nicely using the social media and other stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it can be a place where you can degrade your consciousness like anything.
Becomes very sweet.
So where do we draw the line?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Very nice question. Thank you. I remember when I went to South India a couple of years ago. I went to the temple there, and it was a very nice arrangement. I stayed with the brahmacharis, and I was on my phone because I wasn't doing much service. I was just on my phone watching stuff. And one of the brahmacharis started telling me, "Ah, that's your wife." I felt so embarrassed. I was like, I never thought it that way, but yeah, basically that's my wife. The phone. It made a profound impact, phone. smartphone. So I remember from Prabhu's lecture, he often mentions how it's very important to understand that these modern technologies like phones, laptops, and many other gadgets that we're utilizing in our daily life, they are inherently made for sinful life. And when we are buying, purchasing, when we are adopting these technologies, there is a subtle influence on us because they are designed to lead us towards. Just like a very vivid example could be, like the marketing companies, they're paying millions and probably billions of dollars to find which is the exactly the color, the combination of colors plus patterns that will attract you to, the apps, to click on their app. It will give you that, that little buzz. It will be like, oh, let me check this out again, again, and again. So it's if you look at it that way, it's like it's quite scary what these guys are doing. But at the same time, this technology can be utilized to spread the Krishna consciousness around the world. Prabhupada gave the perfect example. The most avant-garde technologies were used at his time. They immediately got the dictaphone. They did music. Now the Prabhupada's music is all over the place. Anybody can access YouTube. Devotees nowadays are cramming so much information on the internet. Just by having such a great body of information is beneficial because there is always a higher chance of random people to stumble upon, a book that Bhakti wrote about bhakti and this and that. So where is the fine line? Because one can go for yukta vairagya, but then one can get misled. So it's not a black or white question, definitely answer, definitely. We cannot just say it's either this or that. Every individual mind, every individual case is different. For example, I can speak for myself. I've been heavily influenced by the modern industry of gadgets and video games, Facebook, social media. I used to be super addicted to Facebook up to the point where I was chatting all the time and the sound of the message. So I was hearing it in my head, and I was checking my phone, and there was nothing there. It was like a maniac, so addictive, like social media, sending photos, chatting with women, and so for me to utilize it as yukta vairagya try to utilize it as yukta vairagya might be more dangerous than for Dylan, who has never really been interested in these kind of things. He's complete disinterest. And Ryan also, like, what kind of yogis do we have here, so for them, they're not so attached. So we have to be sincere, and we have to see there are certain objects in our life, there are certain activities which will break this fine line, and they will lead us into sinful life. So we have to avoid them. We have to be sincere with ourselves. And most of the times, in these cases, the most helpful thing to do is to get guidance from our seniors. Just to be transparent, open ourselves in front of our spiritual master, in front of our temple leaders, temple commander also, and say, I'm having this problem, I'm trying to utilize this technology, I'm trying to do this nice service, videos or whatnot, cars, but I'm getting a special buzz which makes me crave enjoying the world, exploiting the world. So in that case, it's better to just cut it out, and something else can be utilized. There are so many things that can be utilized in Krishna service. this is what I have seen, what I have realized. I don't know if it's. And we are exactly 1 minute off 9. Huh? Said something? No, that's it. I thought that somebody said. Yeah. No, that's for the stream.
Hello, everybody on YouTube. It's also a very unique time in the sense that like you can type into even to Google
Yeah.
different spiritual questions or different searches of the Goswamis or histories of temples, and Google itself or Wikipedia will give you like all this amazing information that's actually correct. It's like
Yeah.
the real thing. So it's also like if you, and then there's things like with Instagram or things like that. The algorithms, the things that you're searching, will show you more of that. So you can kind of see it's almost like showing you what your interest is and what your.
Yeah.
So if you stay on the spiritual
Yeah.
thing, you get more. You just get more
Yeah.
of that. All of a sudden, you've got like different pictures of Prabhupada, different kirtans. In that sense, it's an amazing time. Like it's just an amazing time for, like instant bhajans, instant understanding,
Yeah, it's
pictures
all
of Krishna
Mahaprabhu's
darshans.
movement.
Yeah,
The
it's a,
Sankirtan movement. It's
as long as
expanding
you
in all kinds
stay
of
on
crazy
the
ways.
as long as you stay on that spiritual
Yeah.
side of things, it's amazing.
It's all about having that desire, that vyavasayatmika buddhi. If you have an element in your daily life that is breaking that principle and it's making you go somewhere else so that the algorithm starts altered, then you have to reevaluate your life choices. Rishikesh Prabhu wants to say something?
It's just reminding me about, that the fact that the internet gives people choices like the things that they're interested in, because I have like 84,000 subscribers on my YouTube just because,
Wow.
different videos were suggested to them and they liked it, and now between like 700 and 900 people every day hear kirtan on my YouTube channel online.
Wow.
So it's like I'm doing Harinam every day, even when I'm not going out, because like
Prabhu.
700 or 900 people are hearing the holy name.
Prabhu, I didn't know you're such a celebrity. Okay, shall we wrap it up? Phil? Okay. Thank you so much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhāgavatam ki jai. All the devotees present ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanande. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.